Hi, this is Jagan. I'm going to show you an identity provider. So I have developed this myself using JWT token concept. Okay, so the access and refresh tokens and all these things. So this is the administrative panel of the identity provider that I have created. Okay, so and I'm logging into the admin panel. So in this identity, for this, what you can do is you can integrate the APIs, web browser based applications, mobile applications to this IDP to this IDP right away, and you can assign role based access control and application inter application access control also. Okay, so you can treat this as a centralized authentication systems using JWTs. Okay, so but this doesn't have MFA, so I will take a separate section for MFA, and I will show you what are all the features available within this identity provider. I'm signing in as an admin user. So from the left, right, I can onboard users using their email account. So the username is nothing but the email account itself. Okay, and if I when I'm creating the email account itself, right, for example, now I am having something called as an already created user, open source jagan at gmail.com. If I do that here, gmail.com is the allowed domain, no other domain is allowed. Okay, just for an example, and I can set a password here, and a default user will always be there, and allowed client IDs, allowed a client ID. So what is a client ID means? A client ID is a pointer that points to a specific application. Okay, that's like a pointer. Yeah, okay, let's keep it simple. I'll just keep it as pointer itself. A client ID is an ID that acts as a pointer to a particular specific application, where I will be able to map a user to an application using that client ID. Okay, so add email domain to sign up follow list, and the next one is send password reset email. If I check that box and if I hit create, what happens is that the email account that I'm creating, right, they will get a password reset email in their inbox. So where the user can go to that link at the first time, and they can reset it if you want, or I can share the password that I have. It is a choice actually. Now let's get back to the settings. I don't want to call it as settings. It is a user account panel, I can say, on the right side, right? The first one is the admin SSO, so through which I have actually logged in. So this is for the administrative panel. Here I can do maximum only one thing. We will not be able to change all those things. The only one thing is we can reset the password under the action item. That's all we can do maximum, nothing more than that. Okay. So the next one is the open source jagan at gmail.com is something you can assume that I recently added with a default role as a user. Okay, and you will be able to see how as an admin how you can manage this particular user account, right? So you can assign roles by putting comma and all these things. You can do that as many as roles you can assign. And when it comes to clients, right, I will be able to do the mappings, as I said mentioned, right, client IDs are nothing but pointers that are pointing to the applications that you can assign a user to various multiple applications. Okay, and you will be able to log the account if you want, if you want to keep them logged from some investigation purpose. And if you click the reset button, right, you can send a, if the user is unable to do it, it's not knowing how to do a password reset, you can initiate that trigger from here from the admin panel. And if you feel any user is doing any suspicious activity or something, you can terminate their session right away from here itself by doing this revoke, and you can delete the account as well. Okay, now the next major part is the single sign-on settings, which is called as the security settings, which is available below here. So for the first one is the, as I mentioned, right, I have developed this IDP based upon the basics of JWT token concept. So the first one is access token timer in minutes, right? So it works based on these two, right? Access token and the refresh token. So there is a dependency between the access token and the refresh token. So access token, I have set it for 15 minutes, and I have given all these scrolls over here. So where you will be able to change your custom settings that you want to deal within a secure cookie. So 15 minutes is here, and refresh token I set it for 1440, meaning it is for 24 hours. That refresh token will live for 24 hours. Okay, just like Google, you can assume uh, it uh, uh, it uh, it redirects you to the it redirects you forcefully every 24 hours once, something like that. So that is the token over here. And 50 minutes access token, the purpose of the difference between the refresh token and access token is that access token deals with the actual authentication, and I would say it's authorization as well. If that access token doesn't match, you will get 401 unauthorized. And access token, it actually deals only in the RAM of the server, not in the storage or database. So it keeps on randomly changing every 15 minutes based on the lifetime of the refresh token timer. Okay. So so why the reason why we are keeping it much lesser for this access token is that, right, if there is any application based or browser based, right, the cookie grabbing happens, the access token, the hacker may expect after 15 minutes will be different than the one that he is actually trying to snatch, though it is not possible through the secure cookie. Okay. So so if every 15 minutes you need to keep on randomly change the access token as per the standards. That's why you do it, so he cannot guess the next access token, though if he's trying to snatch. Okay, that is the difference. And the idle logout timer is something that a session of that's inactivity session, right? For example, for 30 minutes you're doing nothing on your system, and it is open, the application is just open like that, it should get automatically logged out. For that purpose this is here. Actually for that purpose only, it is here. You can still fine tune it. You can still adjust that. And the next one is something, so yeah, you will get automatically loaded, and you can still fine tune that value if you want. So if you keep 15 minutes or something, right? So it gets logged out at that particular time, when the activate there is no activity on the application. You can set that. And the next one is the password history count. So what I can say is, if you're trying to do any password resets, right, using the password reset form, as many times that you do, uh, um, for example, you are doing using the password reset form to do the password reset. So for example, you are doing it for 3 times, means your used password will be stored for 3 times, and the fourth time if you're going to use the same password that is already used in the first three, then it will not allow you to do a reset. Okay. So you need to do a fourth new password. You need to put in a fourth new password. So what happens, as soon as you do that, it accepts this and it releases the old first password. Okay, that's how it actually works. So you can do the changes here, how the system needs wants to remember those things. You can change the values as you like. So account lock duration, before getting into the account lock duration, I will tell what is failed login attempts. They are related, right? So failed login attempts is nothing but the it is meant for brute force attacks. That means if you are going to try wrong password attempts for at least 3 times and beyond that, your account gets logged. So for how long it should get logged, that time you can set it over here. So I can say it should get logged for after three wrong password attempts, it should get logged for 3 minutes. So you can adjust both these values as you like. Okay? And the password reset token timer, user is when user is getting logged in, right, to the system, there is a password reset form. If he is going to give a password reset form, he is going to get the password reset email in his inbox. So where he will click that form and update it, right? That particular link which has a reset token, it will live only for the defined timeline. Means it will that link or a token will the reset token will live only for 30 minutes. Beyond that, it will fail. Okay, you can adjust those values also. All the values over here are customizable. You can change it. Now let's go into the a very important section, which is the client ID section. Adding the clients. So for example, over here, right, I have integrated two applications. The first one is called, this is the actual application URL, I would say, the SSO app.jagantest.in, and the second application is called as the test SSO app.jagantest.in. So I have added, I have doesn't mean that I'm actually adding it. I'm actually integrating the those two applications, whatever I mentioned, which is working across the internet in some other location, and it is getting integrated over here. So what I will do is that if this is going to be my application link that I want to integrate, I am just treating this particular subdomain area as my client ID, or you can type whatever you want, the owner's name also here. And after typing that, you can take this application or the API endpoint forward slash something. You can still put a link, a big much more link with a payload also. So and you can add it over here, and you can click add. If you just add it, all these things will get automatically populated. So what are all the things that gets automatically populated? The client ID that you defined, and the redirect URIs, just like the octa, keycloak, and other stuffs, right? The redirect URIs, you get it over here with the for SSO callback, and the status, and the when it is updated. And the mainly thing, this is meant for the developers purpose. If you need to give this information, this gets auto generated. Actually, there's no big pain point, right? This integration details, it actually, you can just copy paste and send it in a mail, where an experienced developer can integrate it on his own. It shows what is the login URL, how he should engineer it on his software, whether it is API or front end, how he should get connected to this IDP. I need to code it properly. Then callback handler, exchange code. Exchange code is something, what I will say is, this IDP has its own login form, right? Even your application will not have its login form. This IDP will take over. Once this IDP login form, the user gets authenticated, that IDP form will get redirected to the application, to this application SSO app.jagantest.in. So that exchange code, right, the tokens needs to get integrated into, just get exchanged to the application from IDP, right? The say cookie information, all those things. So that is the exchange code part. So that is defined here, how you need to do. And the backend requirement, exchange response, use token, session scope. Then and mainly here, right, this how this is, these three are the very important APIs. The validate API for the tokens, this is the API, and how that refresh token should be used, and how that logout should be used, and the session scope, right? And you can study and do it. And if you have any AI, right, or you still want the integration details to be in a much detailed way for better comparison, or a developer needs that amount of scope, he can download that integration document from here, and a text file will be downloaded. In that text file, everything is there. Okay, he can get it downloaded, and he can set it. Just give me a second, I'll show you the text document. So this is the actual downloaded test document from the admin panel. I mean to say, when I click this link, this text file gets downloaded. It says the client name, client ID, base URL, registered URL, login URL, callback handler, and everything. You can study all those things. I can do it. And today, right, we are using Codex CLI, Gemini CLI, Claude, right? We can take that, so we can give this guide as an input reference, and that will be an easy job for any developer to get it integrated in no time, right? You can feed that in the prompt itself. It will be so easy. Okay, so what others can be done is the actions, means for this particular application. So the client ID is nothing but, so this client ID is actually pointing to this application. So what are all the things that I can do on this application? This from the remote, I can modify the link if there is any endpoint change. and I can disable this application from here. If I just click disable, this application will get disabled centrally. Rotate secret key is nothing but as soon as I click this add button, right, when I'm adding the application client, if I just click add client, when this application is getting onboarded to this IDP, a secret key will be generated randomly at the back end, and it will be visible over here like copy secret, and you can download it or you can hide it. That secret key is used as nothing but for example like an API key or a token between your third party application and your IDP, right? See, because the IDP is somewhere in the internet and your application is somewhere else, right? So you across the internet you need to have some security. So what you do is securely we are using the secret key as an integration key. There needs to be an authenticity, right, from the application till the IDP integration. So in between there's an identity key, that is the that is the rotate secret key. So I can keep changing for every 2 or 3 months as you like. You can, if I click rotate secret, what happens is if you have already integrated an application with the older key, that will just get changed and you will lose the connection. So it better use it in a downtime. So how many times you click, those many times the key will keep changing. So ensure you do it in the right way. First time you have the key, store it safely and you can reuse it. Or if you want to change it on a maintenance time like 2 months once as an ISO best practices standards, you can periodically keep changing it, but do it in a time because it will disconnect your application. And if you next one is deleting this onboarded application. That's all. That's what delete button means. So you can keep on adding as much as clients, as much as applications. I don't want to call it as clients, it will confuse. Yeah, as much as client IDs or the third party applications or the EAPs for security. Once it gets onboarded, all these security setting policies will apply on this user, and he will have the respective rights RBAC, role based access control, defined to him, or which applications to access or not, everything. So the generic section is the user account will remain generic all throughout this application, and the security settings will be generic. But the applications within the organization, right? Whatever user accounts that you can here, if we have a HR system and a ticketing system, if one needs the HR, the other user doesn't needs access to the ticketing tool. So you can mention here, go to this clients and you can tell them that, okay, this particular user account only needs access to HR, no needs of no need of ticketing. You just mention the client ID of ticketing and don't need to tell HR. So he will not have access to HR. Or he wants HR, he doesn't want to, don't mention ticket, just put HR, he will get access to the HR. Or if he wants both, you put HR comma ticket as a client ID for an example, he'll have access to both the applications. Okay, so this is about the details about the IDP integration and all its features. Okay, so what I will do is that in the next video I will be demonstrating about the about the integrated application. So let's go log into this application on the next video and see how it is actually working. Okay, and thank you for watching this video.